Hello people, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. This is Sorin and today I'm gonna show you my two games of the VK4502A. It's not gonna be any 10k games or anything like that. I'll just show you some performance that you can have with this little tier 8 heavy tank from Germany, the Forgoten, because obviously you have the Tiger 2, which is the better run out of there, or if you really love the armor, there's the VK101. So we're playing the what's this? You push you lose map. It is the one and only the airfield, and we're playing versus tier 8 versus double artillery piece. So what is the best place to take our heavy? Obviously, it's the middle part. What's the really good thing about this Viki compared to the other? Well, you have actually the highest DPM out of the three German heavies, with 2250 base DPM, whereas the Tiger 2 has only 2160, so it's not falling that far behind. But the only issue with this vehicle, it is the gun. I'll not say that is the worst gun, but I think that is actually really annoying is the 200 millimeters of AP pen. And on top of that, there is the shell velocity that is pretty low. Let's actually put it into fixed camera so you can see what I was doing and where I was aiming. But yes, you can see we are bouncing 232 millimeters of AP pen with our turret, which is flat. I mean, it's not the best. I mean, a patch earlier, I think, in 1.22, this vehicle got massively buffed in terms of the DPM, in terms of the dispersion, accuracy, aiming time, I think, and turret arming, because the turret armor was only 100, actually 210 or something like that meters of armor, so it was very flat and could not deflect any kind of shells. So now with 285 or actually 260, sorry, it should be decent enough. I actually need to look at the armor mode, but it is holding up pretty well. Not the best, but it's doing a good job. Once again, we managed to hit that AMX65T stock cupola, and this is the best scenario for this vehicle, to peek without showing your track. If you peek like this, your upper plate is good, your lower plate is good, and obviously you're peeking with a turret, but obviously the cupola is not the biggest one, so you can actually, if you wiggle, it's gonna be a hard time for them to hit. Now we managed to track that Canavan. The only issue with that vehicle is the DPM. It has like 50% more DPM than we do, but we should be fine. We double track him whenever he's shooting, or at least we try whenever he's shooting, we try to pick for and hit him for 300. There is a Vipera looking at us, and he managed to penetrate with his 260, I think, meters of penetration. I think he penetrated our lower plate. Actually, no, it was straight into the upper plate over here. So that happens when you are not angulated that well. But as you can see, once we angle it, we start to deflect 260 as well. But what happened over here? Caliban's AP rounds managed to overmatch our upper plate, because that thing has like 290 millimeters of AP pen, and the AP pen just reduces the armor if it's angled. So he managed to put a 615 round, it was, reducing our hit points by pretty much 50%. But as you can see, we are using out armor. We are starting to lower premium because we cannot penetrate the Vipera without a premium. So I mean, 1500 damage is pretty bad, but we still have the hit point. The only thing that is scaring me is that Caliban, because he can penetrate the front of this vehicle even in the upper plate, as you just saw. But if you manage to angle it a bit better, then that's gonna be a big difference. And the good thing is that we can, obviously, that Caliban was the reload on this vehicle like 20 seconds on the first shell and 30 seconds on the last shell. So if it's empty, we can push it, but there's like the entire enemy team is here, so we cannot really do anything rather than holding this corner. There's actually an aggressive tank destroyer. There's a renegade which got stuck over here because he's getting spotted by the SU, and there are guys over here like the G-Sword that are crossfiring that renegade. On top of that, the bot light tanks are stuck over here. They're a stalemate because we have two tank destroyers, and they have also some tank destroyer on the back. Now we load back the AP, and whew, that's one shell. And we managed to punish him for 300, and whew, once again double bounce. We managed to put 2 shells in. Unfortunately, we don't go for the tracking because I really want to reduce his hit points. But he must have been really pissed, like spending. How much did he spend? Like 10,000 credits on 2 APs just to make sure that he kills me, to kill like a very bad vehicle. But look at that, once you pick like this, there's nothing they can do. Really, so I mean, like, they can overmatch this. If the Caliban was more experienced, AP will go 100% of the time into this roof, because the roof, it's only 40 millimeters. So yeah, we managed to put our damage total up to 2100 respectively, which, if you ask me, that'll be a great match. The SU is firing to the dirt and the Caliban punish him back. Luckily, this game starts to look quite even right now with 6 kills a team. And come on, why did I have to be so clumsy? I was not expecting there is a charioteer over there, and the artillery also looking at me, but the Caliban went all in, and we still have like 120 hit points to boot, so we should be fine. I mean, actually the charioteer was here, so I don't even know how he managed to shoot me here, because I don't really play the tank destroyers. In that corner, we managed to secure our Caliban hill, rolling for 350, ladies and gentlemen. And we pick up our first kill of the game with 2900 damage. Unfortunately, the Caliban goes down to the Borshik, and like literally we have 0 map control. There's like a charioteer in their base, 2 artillery piece, which by the looks of it they have a keyboard. They also have those guys pushing into this area, which means once I'm over here there is no one that can cover me. So what I was thinking over here, I'll just try to spot, because those guys, at least, and this guy can fire here so they can cover me. And on top of that, I was thinking that if I pick this corner, I can still get 1 or 2 shells in, because I practice the same thing by obviously exposing my my upper plate to them. But here I was like this, and the charioteer, there is no way the charioteer is gonna push me, so my life, it's like my time is ticking right now. But the SU is actually pushing, so he's getting a tiny touch closer, which I really love the tank destroyer with the keyboard. Also, the SU is going a bit aggressive on top of that. So the game is actually neck and neck right now. But what we're gonna do with our 120 hit points and a mighty decent heavy tank, we're just gonna load gold and secure this position over here. On top of that, we have 244 meters of APCR pen, which is, if you ask me, very low. I mean, this tank has pretty much the lowest ammunition penetration in the entire heavy tank line. Well, except the vehicles that have preferential matchmaking. We managed to put one in the charioteer, a sneaky shell, and there is actually an AMX into our base. The charioteer is looking for us. He has 268 APCR pen, which means he can engage my front of the tank easily, or if not, he's firing hash and he can still one-shot me. So what I was thinking over here, I can get a crossfire, but I was not expecting a Borshik to be crossing like that, because I just wanted to get over here and try to get the crossfire into those guys. But 3200 damage and 300 assistance. As you can see, I was very pissed at the moment of this. I was like 1 shell away from the high caliber, as you can see over here with the high caliber mode. So yeah, this guy nicked my high caliber off me. But we still have the SU-130 PM over here, which is having a nice skin. The ISU just killed the 65T, which was stock. And I could not switch to the ISU because obviously I was watching this guy and I was like, come on, we can win this. Obviously they have 2 artillery pieces in their advantage, but we have an aggressive ISU 152. So meanwhile, while you watch this beautiful engagement of the of the tank destroyers, I'm gonna actually jump on tank GG to show you the VK compared to the Tiger 2, the 53 TP, which is a similar vehicle because it's front mounted turret, and the 703 2, which is probably the best heavy tank as a premium tier by tier. So, as you can see, the DPM is among the best out of all of these vehicles in this comparison. The penetration is among the lowest. The reload time is much better, and I can say that we are doing. So yeah, as I was saying, we are doing very good on the reload time because with a rammer and premium consumable, you can actually drop your reload down to probably like 7 seconds, which should be enough to track some vehicles that don't have repair crew on their crew, obviously. The only problem is the caliber. It's a 105, which means you cannot overmatch 35 meters and higher plates. The shell velocity is pretty slow, the same as the 53 TP, so they have kind of a similar sniping capabilities. The ammo capacity is decent because it can carry AP and HE, AP, APCR and HE, the same as the Tiger 2 does, but obviously the Tiger 2 has, by the looks of it, actually no, by the looks of it, the 53 carries less ammunition with a higher alpha damage, which means obviously for the artillery pieces and the light tanks you don't have enough HE or maybe to finish enemies off. So if you ask me, this vehicle it's much more comfortable in terms of ammunition. But as I mentioned, the AP APCR pen are not the greatest. I forgot to mention that this vehicle also have the smallest gun, actually the smallest damage in all of these comparisons. So once you're gonna trade with heavy tanks, it's gonna feel the problem. But going back to the gun handling, and as you saw from the game, the vehicle has 1.9 second aiming time with a 0.34, whereas the Tiger 2 gives 0.30, but with 0.34 you are still quite accurate, and I really love that just because of that good aiming time. The gun handling, it is the same as the 53 TP, the Tiger 2, and obviously it's way worse, actually like 50% worse than the 703 2, which doesn't really need to use vertical stabilizer. With this vehicle, your reticle doesn't really bloom. With our vehicle, yeah, once you're gonna get up to our top speed of 38, our reticle is gonna be pretty damn big. But what's very nice is the 8 degrees of gun depression, which the Tiger 2 gets and the 53 TP gets. So as you can see, you are pretty you can actually work a ridge line. I'm going to show you a replay where I actually work a ridge line on the Lakeville, whereas with the 703 you can just wish to fight on a ridge line. But in terms of the mobility, it's pretty much the same as the Tiger 2 in terms of top speed performance and the 703, whereas the 53 TP can go a bit quicker. On top of that, this vehicle gets kind of a nimble 15.5 power to ratio, which means unlike a Tiger 2 or a 53P, well actually the 53 doesn't really need a turbocharger, so this vehicle frees up a slot in terms of the mobility. Right now you can hear the sirens, and our ISU 152 it's left alone. It's happening over here on the chat. I was saying that the Lorraine got a keyboard, and yeah, I was looking into the third person, and Renegade is gonna report me for cheats. He actually sent a replay to Wargaming, and he wanted me to ban because I was like watching the game. I was waiting for the replay to save, and I was like looking like this, and I just saw those guys destroying the house, and I just marked like, hey, there are two guys in the cup. So the Renegade says save plus with G, and he threatened me inside the game. But that's not the problem, is it? But yeah, going back towards our tank GG, in terms of mobility, as you saw, the vehicle is quite nimble, but you got pretty bad ground resistances, so it cancels it out. But as I mentioned, it doesn't feel the sluggish heavy tank of all. Obviously, it's 57 ton, so you're pretty much part on part with 53 TP and the 703, which means if you're gonna ram each other, you're gonna do exactly the same amount of damage. But yeah, talking about the Halama with this vehicle, it's only 150 meters, which is on paper better than the 50T, the 50TP, and the 703 too. Taking a look at the armor models. Alrighty, so in terms of the armor, the turret armor for some reason 255. I remember it being 260 for whatever reason, which is flat, but it's at least 10 meters thicker than the Tiger 2, so you can probably deflect more shells, but in theory, no. Anything that has hit and high penetration is gonna go right through it. Whereas the 50 TP gets 210, which is on paper less, but obviously it's well sloped, and you're gonna be bouncing more in the 50 TP. The same goes into the 703 version 2, which has a rounded turret, pretty much a weak forehead, the same as the Tiger 2 and the VK has, but obviously your turret is gonna hold up much better than those vehicles. Next, another point where this vehicle is winning is by the hit points. 1600 is the same as the Tiger 2, but the 50TP and the 703 are just failing in comparison, whereas the 50TP needs another pieces of equipment, and that is the hardening to have the same amount of hit points as the VK45. And what can I say? This vehicle, once again, it doesn't need hardening anymore. Actually, you can put hardening just to have more hit points to trade, but obviously you can invest into something else. And other than that, what you have over here that it's worth talking about, the vehicle for whatever reason gets worse armor than you have on the 50T on the 703. Probably it's because it's bigger and longer or taller. But what this vehicle doesn't lack is the view range, 390, which is just 20 meters better than the 50T, and 40 meters better than the Russian. And the fire chance is only 15%, the same as the other vehicles in this comparison, though the ammunition cost is more expensive, and probably you're gonna feel a deep, what is it? How you call it when you have a deep hole in your pocket? Yes. Now we take our VK on the hills of Lakeville into the valley, and we're fighting an amazing tier 7 that we cannot penetrate with AP. Actually, we can penetrate the cupola if you aim for that, but we're too lazy. And the AT just penetrates us quite reliably with APCR into the flap over here. And as you can see, the lower tiers have no chance going through us. They're firing HE, and you can see that you can for 200 meters you can snipe for the cupolas quite effectively. He is firing HE and he manages to knock out our radio man for some reason, and the crew loadout is casual 5 men. And by the looks of it, we won the valley. Our guys are pushing in fast. 2 minutes in the game. We have all the reload time in the world. As you can see, we're reloading quite quick. We are putting the damage in, and we just bounce that flat stock turret of that tier 6 heavy tank. Come on, let's make that count. There it goes. Yeah, this is pretty much a Lakeville game with this. As you can see, the tank has all the gun depression in the world that you need to fight in here, but the only thing that you need to be aware is that forehead, cupola, and the flaps, and obviously the weak side armor, which I forgot to mention, it's 80, I think. But yeah, you're gonna be taking a look in a moment, because the tier 6 is gonna penetrate us with standard rounds into the side. And as you can see, this is the average World of Tanks performance, 3 minutes game, and we already won. Well, not really won, because the victory screen is not here. We are just chasing for some more damage. Oops, we picked up that kill. We pressed the button for mistake. We managed to hit that, and pretty much the game is over in the 4 minutes. What can I say? Average World of Tanks experience. Beautiful stuff over here. Going back onto this, I actually need to double check something. And it was over here into the vehicle rebalance 1.22 thing. They've added, oh yeah, they added the British wheel tanks. They rebalanced this, and there it is. Oh no, that's the premium. Sorry, there it is, the VK. So everything that was buffed about the VK, the what is it? The dispersion, yeah, it was decreased by 10%. The same goes with when moving to the turret and hull. The DPM got better. The aiming time got better. The accuracy got better. More hit points, up to 100. Well, actually, up to 1,600 on the top turret and to 1,500 on the stock turret. Next, oh yeah, there is the 260 that I was remembering about. I don't remember why they put it down to 255, but it is what it is. And also the chicks, they got up quite a little. Rather than that, this was the vehicle, and I forgot to mention one thing, and that is the equipment. Once you max it out, you have pretty much 2550 DPM, which is enough to fight your enemies. Actually, if you put the firepower slot, it's 2600, which is very nice. Once again, the reload goes down to 7.3, which is enough to, to put maybe multiple shells in versus heavy tanks that get better, actually higher alpha yet worse rate of fire. The dispersion is 0.33, which is very nice. 1.8 seconds aiming time is godlike. And with the vertical stabilizer, you have half bad gun handling. Next, obviously, my desired setup will be hardening, the rammer, and the vertical stabilizer. But I don't know, you can play around. You can even put a turbocharger on. But I don't recommend using vents on this vehicle. Actually, in particular, I don't really recommend using vents on your newer vehicles. Or actually, you can put, instead of the vertical stabilizer, you can go ahead and put maybe the bounty rotation mechanism, but yeah, it doesn't really help you that much as the vertical stabilizer does. Obviously, now you have 1820 hit points, which is just enough for a heavy tank to be effective against tier 10s versus tier 9s and obviously lower tiers. And as you can see, your power to weight ratio is not actually half bad. You have 8 degrees of gun depression over all of your tank. And in terms of the 3D model, here we are. Once you're on cooldown, as you can see, with 200 millimeters, you cannot penetrate your upper plate, your cheeks, and you can see a bit of your cupola, which is 150 meters, which is not that bad. But once you get on cooldown, there is a 20 meter flap that is hiding over here. If you're gonna fire, the AP is gonna go right through. The lower plate hits on a flat terrain, it's like 180, so tier 7's AP rounds are gonna penetrate that. And this bar over here is 185, which is good for ramming, I suppose. Yet you have a really big side armor of 80mm, and you can't really side scrape that much because obviously it's only one tiny touch mistake that you can make and get hit on the side and get penetrated. But other than that, I believe if you are a master, actually no, don't reverse side scrape into this. Yeah, about the 53 TP, I want to say that the 53 TP is a much better vehicle in terms of its turret capability, but as you can see, you have really strong cheeks, kind of the same side cupola, I believe. But just look at this, the upper plate, it's 196. Even if you put it at a bigger angle, it's still up to 20, whereas the VK just has way better better upper front protection and even lower plate. I mean, like at the same angle, I think you just have like 260, even 300. This is why that Caliban managed to penetrate, because it was like a 50-50 chance for him to roll for 298 when fire into the upper plate. But other than that, the more you angle it, the better it is. And you wanna see our performance for the battle? Well, there we are. This is our Lakeville, which we did an amazing 2300 damage, even though it was a 3-minute game. I mean, we had 3 minutes of action. We managed to break through that flank to use our gun depression, everything like that. And like no one did more than 3k damage. Some people did even 0 damage. But yeah, it was a quite fast game. And about that airfield game, we managed to secure that 3000 damage mark. Yeah, it was a defeat. But I mean, we didn't do half that. I mean, like we had some powerful guys that did 0 damage in our team. The cannon did 1 shell of damage, and I can't really blame the team. I just lost too many hit points fighting that Centurion. I made a mistake and I got punished for that. Yet there's one more thing that I want to mention before I end this video. For this tank, it's whenever you buy it and you want to, research it, you're gonna have this gun over here. Actually, when you buy it, you have this gun and this turret. This turret is only 100 meters, so you cannot play any kind of heavy tank. You are just gonna be, for the first games, you're gonna be a support vehicle, which means whenever you buy this vehicle and you don't wanna use, just wanna be useful and try to not put your team at a disadvantage and get like 17% win rate, you wanna research the top turret. And as you can see, I never researched my tracks. How is that? Well, if you put yourself the improved, actually not the improved hardening, if you put yourself the hardening into the slot, improved hardening into this slot, you don't need any kind of tracks, any kind of upgraded tracks. And on top of that, I want to mention that this gun over here is the same gun that you get on a Tiger piece. So you're gonna fight with a 240 damage gun instead of the 20 that I mentioned earlier. And this gun is the same. Actually, you cannot mount it because there is no turret or there is no hardening on this vehicle. But the top gun is the same gun that you have on your VK100 as stock, I believe. Let me actually double check. Yeah, it's the same. This is the stock gun that you got. So if you ever want to play your Tiger P, first go for the VK100, buy it, and then you can go ahead and go for the VK, and you're gonna have the obviously this gun research, and it will just need 15k, yeah, 15k experience, the hardening, and there you go. You have yourself a decent tier 8 heavy that it can work, and it's quite flexible. So without further, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you legends around.